Hi everyone and welcome to Thirsty Thursday. My name's Claire Manning from Thirsty Brush and I'm here with another card making demonstration for you today to give you some inspiration with your Thirsty Brush designs or just some general crafting tips and tricks to make your cards look extra special. So I hope you're all well. I'm going to hopefully bring a little bit of sunshine for you today. It's gone a little bit colder this week. And I hope that sunshine is coming back. But in the meantime, let's have a look at one of the most recent releases from our So Sweet collection. And this particular design is really based on kind of fruit trees in the sun and things like that. And I've got this lovely font. These could be peaches, oranges, apples, cherries, whatever you want. And I really like this line font. So there are still some of these available, and I know some of you are waiting for your clearance items to arrive as well. So thank you for your patience waiting for those deliveries. But also if you've sent any emails or messages to me or the website, do just be patient. We are wading through everything there and make sure everybody's got what they ordered. But hopefully you'll have tons of fun. And if you're reasonably new to Thirsty Brush, do check out our old videos as well as subscribing to the How to Craft Network channel here, because you'll get all your videos from me, Tony, Simon and Carly from and Sandra's obviously Pretty Penny as well. So she's on Create and Craft sometimes, but I'm guessing she'll be doing some videos as well once we can all travel and do get back to normal a little bit. So let's crack on with this. Yeah, I want to do something that feels a bit like a sunshine and a bit of sky in the background, a bit of heat embossing, a bit of watercolouring. So a few different things all mixed together here. So the first step is to cut a piece of card for us to stamp onto. So what I've actually done is cut this piece of white card slightly smaller than my A5 card that I'm doing, slightly bigger one this time. And I actually want to use these two dies as separate. This bit cuts out all the detail in between that lovely stamped image. And this one allows you to cut a matte layer, or we're going to do something slightly different with it. I'm going to kind of inlay that circle. So I use both together because it saves me doing two passes, but I do want to kind of, do I want it centralized or I want it slightly, let's do it centralized because I want to get as much of the sky bit that you'll see behind as well, but I want it pretty centralized throughout the whole card, vertically and horizontally. Just a bit of tape to hold that in place. And I'll run that through my machine. And then I'll get my Eureka next to do some stamping. I'm going to use the main large image. So just to show you what we've got here. So I'm going to keep this outer piece. This is for our card later on and we'll do some sky effect. It's cut this part, which I don't need for this project, but you can use it and save for something else. And then this is the part. Just make sure all the bits are out that we're going to stamp onto. And because it's a plate die that cuts all those bits out, that's why I'm stamping and then, die cutting and then stamping after, because it makes it easier for me to see what I'm doing. Just grab some low tap tape. I'm not using my magnets to hold it down because I wouldn't have enough it would eat into the cardstock and I wouldn't have enough room to get my cleared stamped image. So I'm just putting a tiny little loop of some low tap tape just to hold that in position, so I can double stamp if I need to, if I miss a bit or it slips or anything like that. So I'm going to put, it's quite a large image, so I might just put 2 just to make sure. It absolutely stays in position. Do a bit near the top as well. Yeah, so that's pretty firmly in place. Then I can spend a couple of seconds just making sure everything is lined up perfectly. And I'm going to heat emboss in gold. You can just stamp in your black or your grey, or heat emboss in any other colour that you've got. So to make it really crisp, just go in with my anti-static. And stamp here with my embossing ink. So now I know that's not going to move, I can go in a couple of times just to make sure I've got every bit for my powder to stick to. Obviously when you're using a clear ink pad it can be difficult otherwise. It's quite a sketchy image though, so I wouldn't worry too much. You probably wouldn't notice if you missed an odd bit in the middle. But that outer ring, I want to try and get as solid gold as possible. I'll just wipe that down in a second, and let's pop the powder on for this. I'll just take those off so my embossing powder doesn't stick to them. I've got a piece of scrap paper as normal to catch my powder. And just folding it in half allows the powder to collect in the middle. And this is our Thirsty Brush Gold Digger, which I am working on getting back in stock. So just all over, and a little tap on the back should get off any excess. There we go. Just pop that down for a second while I get rid of all this, and then I can heat set that and it'll go that beautiful shiny gold that we all love. And there we go. In an embossing powder, it's beautiful before we've even added any colour, I think. So let's pop in and just add a little bit of watercolour. Just got my Thirsty brush palette here. I haven't got any water in that brush at the moment, so I'm just going to use a bit of this colour here. And I think I might make them like peaches. So I'm just adding a bit of the darker orange on the one side of the fruit. So there's some sneaky ones coming out the side here. And then this lighter kind of peach colour. This isn't particularly watercolour card, it's just normal cardstock, so you're not going to get as good a blend and light and shade on this, but I'm not worried about this with this particular card. I just want to get some colour down, a little bit of shade on the one side, but nothing complicated. And I may as well see if I can use some of this green here. This is quite a dark green, might add a little bit more brightness to it. And the same again, I'm doing roughly half of the leaf in this darker. A little bit of simple shade. And then lots of water and some lighter. Very, very simple. Nothing complicated or skillful at all there. The last thing to do, there's a little bit of like a branch here, so I'm just adding a bit of dark brown. So the brown there's slightly too light for this, so I've just added a little bit of black as well, make it. A couple of little branches. Okay, so that's our image. And I'm just going to pop that aside for a second or two just to dry off while I get back to this bit that we cut out. So I want to give an illusion of kind of like a sky behind here. So I'm just going to got my blending brush, and I just want to grab a blue ink. So I've got here Handmade Lagoon, which is actually really super bright. So in case that ends up a bit too bright, I've got this Speckled Egg, which is like a duck egg blue as well. So I think we'll start off with the lighter. Just need a scrap of paper. I used some bright colours last time on this brush, so just make sure they're kind of like self-cleaning if you just give them a wipe. Oh, that should be enough. Okay. And I'm going to use that to lean on as well. So what I'm really fancying here is that from the circle outwards, we kind of get a kind of blue to almost white blend around the circle. Whoops. Need to hold down that piece and think at the same time, I think. So that's a good kind of lightish blue base colour. Looks almost a bit too dull though, so let's add a tiny bit of this Mermaid Lagoon. I'm going to go super light on my brush. Tapping off any excess on that bit of scrap paper. I think the dog's having a dream. He's making cute little noises in his sleep. Okay, and to give this a little bit more texture, excuse me, I'm going to do some little splats, some just with my fingers. The ones with my fingers will be a little bit bigger, and then I can do ones with my paintbrush as well. They'll be a little bit finer. And this is going to activate the ink and just add some really cool texture. And you can do as much or as little as you like of this until you're happy with the effect. And you get that kind of hazy, sunny sky effect. Just keep going until you feel, I think that's about right. Okay, can you see that? So that needs to just dry off as well a little bit. You could do it with the heat gun, but that card isn't particularly mega thick that I've used today. So I'm just going to leave it to do its thing so it stays as flat as possible while I get a sentiment ready. And then we're going to put everything together and hopefully create like a sunshine effect. So that goes aside. So back in with my Eureka. And I've got just lying about a scrap of black card that I've kept to use for sentiments. Oz, do you want to come and say hello? I'm sure everybody doesn't want to hear your slopping noises as you're now awake and having a bath. And from the set, I'm going to use this hello. In fact, should we do hello friend? That might be cute. There's a sunshine in the heart one as well, big sunshine in this font. So if you've got that too, you can have hello sunshine. That's a nice sentiment. I'll try and position it as I can, and then I can just trim this down. So I'm going to do this in the gold to tie in. You're not feeling like saying hello today, of course, no? Oh. Hi. Just come and say hello to everybody. Say hello, cutie. You just come to have a sniff. I'm going to miss my work pal when I go back into my own studio soon. Can't seem to get it to do that bottom one. Maybe I'm just too close to the edge. Let's just stick with the hello. I should have done that a little bit further out. I think it's just dipped. Yes, yes, we see you. we see you. Okay. Get that piece of card back. I wouldn't come near this powder now. Get down then. Back in with the gold. Yeah, didn't quite stamp that, friend, so not to worry, we can trim around that. Go with it. I'm sure we all do things like this at home as well. And sometimes you have to be flexible and adaptable if something doesn't quite work out. It's not sometimes you or any of the things that you're using, just sometimes things don't always go to plan, do they? Even for us doing these videos. So I like to leave in an odd thing like that to show we're human. I'm just absolutely in love with that font. Right, I'm just going to trim that down. Okay, so if we get everything together. So card blank wise, I'm using a grey A5 card. And I'm going to layer on this piece of gold, which is hopefully going to shine through for my peaches as well. So just use a bit of double-sided tape just to keep that really super flat and even. I do find some metallic cards, depending on the thickness, but particularly these kind of satiny ones, if you use wet glue, you can almost get where it soaks through the wetness. You can see the squiggles or lines where you've put your glue, and I just don't like that. So I find if I use tape, I just get a smoother finish. Okay, and then this bit's going to go next. It's slightly smaller again, just by a mil or so, and I'm going to try. We've got a little mark on there. Can I get that off? There we go. I'm going to try and get it on even with some foam pads and just raise it up slightly. These are really quite thin ones, but use whatever thickness you want. But the problem's going to be is, can I get it straight? So let's pop them all round so it sits nice and evenly and flat. And I'm just going to trim, see this bit's quite narrow, so I'm just going to trim one in half, just so it doesn't poke out. The dog's got his favourite toy out now and he's just having a scratch, so I do apologise for the noise. Why didn't he just stay asleep? But yeah, I will miss my work pal. He's very lazy though, doesn't do enough. Naps all day. Very jealous. Horse, stop it please. I'd open the door to let him out in the garden, but he likes to bark at for his other friends, doggy friends on the street. Right, go overhead a little bit. Apologies if I don't get this perfectly straight. Oh, that's not too bad. And then I want to inlay this in, so that gives us that sunshine effect behind. Shall I raise that up as well? Going to cause it a bit of a shadow. I think that might be nice. Might just need to chop some of these again, but that's okay, isn't it? If we do a few thin ones, I've run out of the thin tape. That's normally good for things like this, isn't it? Got some little ones. So if you don't have small pieces of foam, don't worry, just chop up what you've got. Right then, let's go around the edge as best we can. It's nothing like crafters being resourceful, is there? Sometimes if you haven't got it, then just make do with what you've got. It's going to take me ages to peel off all this backing though, isn't it? Do let me know if you've received your goodie bags. If you ordered over £50 worth of stuff from the sale, there is an odd bit left. Not huge numbers. There's an odd bit of Christmas designs, and there's an odd bit of some of our very early designs. If you still haven't done your shopping yet in the sale, and if you spend over £50, you get a free goodie bag. And the best thing for me is that I can't wait to see what you guys all make with them. So do join our Facebook group if you're not already a member. It's a free group, loads of crafters on there, and everybody just shares their Thirsty Brush makes, you know, answers each other's questions, all that kind of thing. Just a really nice, friendly community. Just gonna see the corner of that bit, so just trim it off. I think everything else is hidden. Great. But that's one of the greatest joys of this job for me, is that I get to see what you guys do with the designs, and you always surprise me of the things that you come up with. I know you all say you watch my videos to get inspiration, but I always think you guys come up with the best ideas. Sometimes really, really unusual things I see, and I think, gosh, I'd never have ever have thought that. Right then, so let's just decide how to position this. Should do it like slightly on the slant. Yeah, like that. And I want to centralise it. Can you see now where you might have thought, well, there's no point in really using that extra die? This one, I could have just cut the hole in the card and got my card to stamp onto by using that one. But by cutting with this one as well, that's actually created this kind of recess and just adds the extra dimension to the card. And then finally, just a little bit of glue. For the sentiment. You could pop some gems, or if you've got those lovely water gems, those water droplets of Chinese, they would look beautiful. I haven't got any of those yet. I think they would really go with the theme. And there we go. So a different way for you to use those dies, if you've got the circle, if you've got the heart one, if you've got the square one, the gin with the lemons. So just to practice with that recess, and you could do all sorts of different things. You could do some stenciling around here, alcohol marker colouring if you're not really into the watercolouring, or your pencils, whatever you've got. Great, so I hope you enjoyed that, and I will see you for our next video at 1 p.m. on Sunday afternoon for the Sunday chill. Take care guys and stay safe.